Hello, it's your boy Davidoff. Movie time was 10 minutes ago, but obviously there's adverts, so those will save me. But I'm just here. I got 3 days off, so it's very nice. I've been trying to find out about my housing and my job, because obviously my job place is shutting down. My home is getting knocked down, so there's a few developments with emails and stuff. I'm just gonna say I've had a few job interviews, a few job offers that have not been too suitable for me in terms of like logistically, but I'm still working it out. But yeah, I feel like vibes are more positive. Like I feel like I'll be okay. But anyway, I'm here today to watch Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This is a follow-up to the recent trilogy, Rise, Dawn and War of Planet of the Apes. Those are 3 incredible movies in their own ways. They were all incredible. Like it was unbelievable how good they were. It was just a masterpiece. Great storytelling, great characters, emotional, and obviously visually looked amazing as well. A great mocap, CGI, etc. So I was just like, that trilogy was so perfect. Do we need another one? When they first released the trailer, I was just like, do we need another one? Then I heard about it, and apparently it's like takes place like hundreds of years after this one, after the trilogy. So then I was just like, I was more on board. So it doesn't really ruin the story of the original, not the original, but I know there's movies before that, but it doesn't ruin the story of the trilogy that I love, from War, Dawn and Rise, from Caesar. But it takes place in the same universe, but hundreds of years down the line. So like, I'm just like, okay, I'm more on board with new characters. I hope it's good. Still a bit pessimistic because I don't think it's needed, but I just hope it's good. I heard the reviews are great, so yeah, I'm very excited. I always have positive vibes when it comes to movies. I always go in wanting to be good, but I'm still pessimistic. I'm just like, was it necessary? But with the premise, I was a bit more on board, but still not completely on board. But I'm hoping to come out that I'm loving it. I always go in open-minded, and that's what I'll go in here for as well. I love this franchise as a whole, and the recent trilogy was amazing, so I just want the new one to be good. And the fact that it doesn't take place straight after the last one, I'm on board with that immediately. Like hundreds of years later, yeah, okay, fair enough, new characters. I have no doubts in the visuals. I think that'll look great, but I hope the storytelling is good, the new characters. I also think the main character, I think his name, I don't know what his name is actually, but he has kind of the voice of Caesar a little bit. The way, like when he says, apes hunt humans, that is wrong. You kind of hear Caesar in that, so maybe he's a descendant of Caesar. But anyway, I'm excited to watch it. I'm going to go in right now, and hopefully it's good. Let me go in before the trailer starts. So yeah, watching IMAX as well. IMAX. Like this has got to be an IMAX. So let's get in.
The surface. Orion's over 40.
Wow, we are out. And oh wow, that movie was good. Very good. I actually like that. I was just like, damn, that was actually really good. It doesn't hold the same emotional weight of the trilogy that I referred to, but it's still good. It still has some things, some elements that that trilogy had. The start of the movie is kind of like, there's a scene right after Caesar dies, and then it just shows you, oh, generations later, and then you go into this new era of apes many years down the line, and it's a good story. Like the main character Noah and his friends and his parents, interesting. And then there's this like big kingdom. You kind of find out what happened to like Caesar's clan and everything, because there's more than one ape tribe basically. Some interesting new characters. There's some sad scenes. There's this particularly very sad scene in the middle of it, and there's common themes. There's good apes, there's bad apes. There's good humans, there's bad humans. Can humans be trusted? Can the new apes be trusted? There's a lot of elements that are taken from that trilogy I referred to, and I feel it's done really well. Yeah, the storytelling, even the flipping score of the movie, and I can't, as I was saying, I can't praise enough the visuals. The visuals are already incredible in Dawn and War, but in this one as well, obviously, many years later, in terms of not just in terms of the movie, but also this, not just in terms of the story, but also in terms of the release date. The last one was a fair amount of years ago now, not too long, but still, it's been quite a few years. So you'd think technology has improved anyway, even though it was already pretty advanced when the last two came out. But still, like the last two looked great, looked incredible, and this one once again looks bloody incredible. Like these are movies about intelligent talking apes and they made it look real in this film. They made it look like they were real. Made it look like they're actual beings that exist, even though they're not. The movie is visually that good that it makes them look so realistic, and they already did. They already achieved that in the trilogy I just mentioned. But it's just, it looks incredible here as well. So there is that. About certain characters, the main character Noah is interesting. His tribe is interesting. Caesar's legacy lives on here. So even though it's not about Caesar, Caesar still has, there's references to Caesar and things that happened during Caesar's time. There's some funny moments, not in like, the movie doesn't try to be funny. It doesn't try to be funny, but there are some moments that are funny because of the way certain characters react to certain things. The main human character, May, is interesting as well. I like what they did with her. I just thought, okay, that's very intriguing there. The human race has definitely not completely died out, and it turns out that not every human lost the ability to speak. Most humans did. I mean, most humans died because of the virus they created themselves. Humans created a virus that killed most of them. The same virus made the apes smarter. That's the whole premise of this whole franchise. But it turns out that not every human regressed, even though most of the survivors did. There were some that didn't regress. There were some humans that actually survived and retained their intelligence. So there is also that aspect, and May is the key to this. So it does tease a lot of things, because I do think there's going to be more movies. There's going to be like another trilogy, I heard, maybe. At least there'll be a sequel. I know that for sure. The ending was not a cliffhanger, but it definitely looked like it was setting up, keeping things open. But it kind of teased the idea of humans and apes living in harmony, side by side, not mixing together and living together, but like, you know, both existing and not killing each other in that sense. Both living in peace, and, you know, still living separately, but living in peace, and communicating. But it was also teasing the possibility of humans and apes having to go to war again. So there is that possibility too, but they opened both doors, kind of. And I think this trilogy is going to be about whether humans and apes can actually coexist. But I think there will definitely be some human and ape battles at some point. I think that's definitely going to be something. And I am curious to know how how normal humans would interact with the humans that have regressed. Like, I would like to see more of that interaction as well. So yeah, but it's very interesting. The main villain, who owns this kingdom, he is terrifying. He's menacing. He has this big guard that's a big gorilla. It's like watching Davidoff a little bit. So the main villain is the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. The main guard, the gorilla, is The Rock. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, you know, I'm trying. If you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. So you got the tribal chief. You got The Rock, who's the final boss. So he's the final boss, and then Cody Rhodes is Noah. Yeah. I also like what they did with eagles. So Noah's ape clan, they own their own eagles that they can communicate with. There's like ceremonies to like align with, like, to what is the word, to gain an eagle's trust. There's a word, I just can't think of it in my head, but it's them and eagles, they bond. Yeah, they bond with a specific eagle, each ape, and there's like a ceremony thing. So interesting traditions. But yeah, what I was gonna say is the main king of the kingdom, this main villain, he was very Roman Empire-esque. I don't want to spoil things, so I don't want to go too far into it, but I'm kind of basing information based off trailers anyway. But he's very, like, he sees himself kind of like as a Roman king in a way. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, it's interesting to see, like, this world, or even it's just the US actually, but to see the future, like, from the trilogy that we saw of Caesar, like what happens after, but many years down the line. I think the story works. So I'm very intrigued, and I'm very curious to see what happens. And also, like, there's always, can everyone live in peace for 5 minutes in these movies? Like, the start of this movie was just so joyful and pleasant, a few scary bits here and there, and then suddenly you just see tragedy, some really bad tragedy. These movies cannot go without some sort of tragedy happening, and it's or like a key person dying, and I'm just like, oh, please give give everybody a break. But I guess that's part of this franchise. It's just part of the brutality of a world like this, that's become, you know, so barren, and, you know, yeah, just, you know, a world that's been changed completely. And, you know, in that universe, it makes sense why there'd be so much tragedy and savagery. It makes sense. But yeah, I just like the themes of it, and it's definitely very interesting, this whole concept, this whole universe. And I know they were like old movies, but the old movies, like, I've seen all the old ones, all the ones in decades ago. The original was good. I think the 1968, that was a good film. The rest of them, not so much. But that trilogy with Rise, Dawn, and War, the modern trilogy, was so amazing. Like, they leveled up. Like, it was so damn good. And the only one from the past you can consider better than those is the original in 1968. I think it's 1968. That could be the best one. It could be. But the rest of them, not so much. But that original, and then this recent trilogy, and this film, that's easily the top 5. And yeah, this franchise definitely has more stories to tell. And I'm surprised to say that, because I was very pessimistic. I just thought, you've closed the book. The story ended fine at the end of War. Did you have to make another one? And now I'm looking at it thinking, you know what? Good on you. You actually made something good. You made a sequel, and you actually made it work, and you didn't ruin Caesar's trilogy storyline. So, you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. And I would like to see a sequel if that is in the plans. And apparently they are planning on a trilogy. Sometimes you shouldn't plan too far ahead, though. Check Disney Star Wars, but hopefully they have the right plan in place. Hopefully. But you just got to point out that Disney owns this as well, so just got to point that out. This is your boy Davidoff. Oh yeah, rating 9 out of 10. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and goodbye.